Yeah, and welcome to a lesson on how to add feel to your rhythm playing. I'm Brett Papa, also known as Papa Stash, and today we're just going to go over a couple of techniques on how to spice up the rhythm and add feel to it. Few lessons back, we did it on lead and how to add feel to your solos, so now let's complete the process. A song is what gives us a solo, right? Go to karaoke bar, people aren't yelling solos, they're yelling songs. So, in order to write a killer, captivating, awesome song, let's get legit with the rhythm, okay? So some of our favorite players, right? Hendrix, Van Halen, one of the best rhythm guitar players in rock ever. We got some of our fallen friends like Prince. All these great rhythm guitar players also lead, but they had the same amount of feel in their rhythm playing. Okay, so a couple of things we can do. First one, light pick grip. Now there's a time and a place for everything, right? Sometimes you just freaking strangle it because you can, but I'm gonna ask you to try going the opposite approach. Hold it as lightly as you can. Now, I learned this from Tim Pierce, one of the most recorded session guitar players ever. He learned it from Eddie Van Halen, right? So there you go. Two players, but very light, huge sound. Okay, so it's super cool. But one of the things that you can do is just let it let's just really loose. Okay, that allows you to you can still pound the strings, but it's not so rigid that you pull the strings too much, the guitar goes out of tune, okay? Something to try. Now, if we're taking a lighter, kind of, let's say more country rock or classic rock progression, say you're doing like F, C, right? Just strumming. Right, you get the idea. But if, say, you're the singer and you're playing an acoustic, that's great. You're holding down the fort, whatever. But say you're not that guy and you actually have time and you don't have to think about singing, you can add a lot of feel to a progression like that doing a couple things. You can do instead of straight across, really quickly across the strings, you can right? That you notice when I'm kind of trying to emphasize it with my shoulders so you know what I'm doing. But when you're doing a downstroke like you would in a strum progression, but you're hearing each string one at a time. Although it goes by quick, it's a different feel. Right? So you got okay, so that's one of the things that you can do. That also works in reverse. One of the things I would suggest, I mentioned Eddie Van Halen earlier, watch him play, even if you don't like Van Halen, watch him as an exercise in using this hand. And what you'll notice is, again, light picking, but a lot of upstrokes, a lot of movement with this hand. Not movement like this, but very precise, just enough, but very loose. And he gets a massive sound, right? You're doing muting, you're doing upstrokes. A lot of times it's that kind of stuff because you're getting the high strings first. You got the bass holding down the low notes, so sometimes come in on those high notes first, helps you cut through. Another thing you can do is manipulate the chord, right? So instead of doing F like this, check out this. You take off two of the notes, right? So now you got right? Took off some of the G. Okay, so in this F chord, I basically pulled up my first finger, so it's only on the B, right here, the C note, and it's right here on the F note. The other strings I have open, so now you can. Watch this. When I do that G chord, I'm just have the two G's. The rest of the strings are open, but it's giving you a different sound. So now you can, right? Right, I added kind of that C shape back into my G chord. Right, same kind of thing. So you're manipulating the chords a little bit on that C. Right, I added where I hammer on D2 from the open D, and then I hit the G string open, gets me to my next chord. That G's still ringing into my next chord. Right, add that in there. So now we got. Right, same idea. Going with this hand is you can add mutes, right? Now what I'm doing there is I'm making the sound go in and out, or loud and soft, and it's called dynamics. That's huge. A lot of times when we just strum, we don't think a lot about dynamics. We're just washboarding, sending out a huge sonic, spectrum of frequencies, when oftentimes what we really want is to take out some of that stuff. You already got a band, you got drums, you got bass, you got a singer, all these things you're competing with. And as guitar players, if you remove some of that sound, you actually stick out more, which is cool, because then you can have different melody lines going with the singer. You don't have to, you can. Right, so sometimes you really crank into that G chord and then cut it off. Right, and then come back in again, that kind of loud, soft dynamic. Okay, so other things that you can think about. You can also take the chords, maybe. Right, so you hold a chord and come in later on the G, say, for instance, like say, if I went like this. Right, next pass, come in early on the G. Come in late next time. Right, you're holding it, that extra and, one, and, come in on the ands rather than on the ones or the numbers. So if I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, come in on the and instead of on the actual number, whatever beat it may be. That also is super cool. The rest of the band may be hitting on the numbers. You come in on the and it's like, if you do it before, it creates a tension. If you do it on the flip side, it's now you're kind of back and behind the beat, but it has a really cool feel. So play with where you put the chords in. That has a huge amount of impact when it comes to feel. Okay, you noticed I went right in that instance. What I did, add a little gain to that. All right, just using a C chord, a bar chord, and I'm doing a little Hendrix trick. I'm just sliding from 5 to 7 on my A string and then doing a double stop, so I get the 5th in the root of the C chord. Right? Right? You can do stuff like that. So if I went to that next move, you can do a take parts of the chord, like the G chord, right, on this high E and B string, slide up to the 5th, and then do something like that. Get that a little cleaner. Off the cuff plan. You know, sometimes you land on your feet, sometimes you land flat on your face, but you're trying, you're doing new stuff, you're breaking it up, you're learning how to put feel in your playing. Take it to the simplest degree, like just mutes. Something different. Mute it down. Build. Right, so you're just adding, you're doing some of those strum throughs, some mutes, right? Muted down like this. So it's all about not just playing chords to get through the song, but really trying to suck the audience, right, or yourself for that matter, into what you're doing, because you're constantly trying to tweak and create feel and emotion and dynamics, and you're really concentrating on the song and listening to how you're playing to other people and playing off other people, pulling not only you, but the rest of the audience into the music. That's what feel is all about, right? You see Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and these guys, they're feeling it. I mean, their face looks like they swallowed a cup of vinegar, right? Because they're in it. They're feeling it. They're owning it. They're putting all of themselves into the music. And that's what translates. You got to learn to put yourself here into what you're playing. So it's not just a chord progression anymore. Or an out-of-tune guitar. You're feeling it. You're in it. You're involved. And then, throw in a D chord because you can and it's not in the key, and go off into a bridge just for fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, don't be afraid to spread the word. Tell your friends, pass the videos far and wide. That helps me out, and that is awesome. And you guys, just big hug. I freaking love you all. Thank you so much for the support. I'll catch you next time.